everyone. So officially, now that we're on the road and getting started, I'm Delta.
I'm Will.
And we're about to get started on our wonderful Carcation. And I promised you that we would show you a little bit. So I'm going to show you what we initially packed. And then while we're driving, I'll go ahead and explain some things. And then we will be stopping for the night in
Kansas City.
So, and again, we're going to do the whole DoorDash thing. For those of you who possibly didn't see the first video, we are on this thing called Carcation. It's an experiment, and we don't have the money to actually do the whole vacation. We're going to go to the first city, do DoorDash, whatever we make. That's how we get through what it is we're doing and have some fun with whatever it is we're doing there. Go to the next city, do the same process, and that's really it. We're going to see if we can enjoy a vacation with making money along the way and not necessarily having money to start out with. And hopefully you learned something from it. And just to give you a little heads up, now I'm going to explain this whole monstrosity right here. A lot of it you don't necessarily have to have, but I'll explain it as we're driving. All right, let's get started. All right, so we have started, and the first thing that we did is grabbed ourselves some breakfast. But here's the thing. It was $18 to get some breakfast. We could have started by actually eating at home. That would have been free, but we are $18 now. What does that mean? When we get to Kansas City, we're gonna have to make that money up and then start making the money that we need and want to enjoy the vacation. Some of the things that we need to definitely make money for would be food as we go, gas, where to stay. These are all things that we have to DoorDash first. Then whatever money that we make after that, that's the money that we can have some fun on. Some other things to keep in mind as I'm talking about food is creative eating. For example, having the McDonald's app is going to be a wonderful thing, along with any other apps. Why? Because you get discounts, and that's going to be important. Wherever we can get some discount, wherever we can take some money off, that's where we're going to go, and that's what we're going to do. Some other things, as we go, we bought an air fryer, and we bought kind of like the little hot pot so we can make some ramen. Those kinds of things cut down on costs. Of course, we buy the food when we get there, make whatever it is we want to make, and move on. But yet, that's also money that we have to make sure that we raise in order to do that. So, fun eating. So, we are in Kansas City now. We are going to be dashing here for lunch, and it's a great opportunity to tell you a little bit about dashing so that, one, if you ever end up doing this kind of thing as part of something like a Carcation, then this is going to be helpful information for you. And I also think it's something that's good for people who do DoorDash or use DoorDash, but then they don't understand some things about it. So, first of all, if you want to be an effective DoorDasher, you have to have a high acceptance rate. What does that mean? Every time you get a dash, you have to accept it, and you have to have at least a 70%. But if you do it only at 70% in those situations, you have no wiggle room to not accept certain dashes. And the reason why you want to have that wiggle room, a lot of times you may only get a order without any tip. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking when they're looking at their order, there's sometimes this delivery fee, and they think that that's on top of whatever the dasher makes. But you need to understand that a dasher does not make a set amount per hour. Like, they're not getting paid necessarily through DoorDash by the hour. If you do something by the hour, then you're only getting paid within that dash time and nothing else. You're not getting a set $10 an hour or whatever. Now, DoorDash will give you a minimum per dash, which is $2. Now, if nobody decides to give us a tip, that's $2, that's it, and you never know how far it's going to take you. You could end up going something like 10 miles, depending on the range of the area that you're in. You could hit things like traffic and so many things that make it so that it's a slower amount of time. If it's a really good situation, you might get 4 dashes in an hour. Okay? But consider this. If you have 4 dashes in an hour and you are going 10 miles, which is highly unlikely you're going to get 4 dashes, and you're only getting $2, well then that's a total of $8. So not very helpful because of how many miles you're doing and how many miles to the gallon. And right now, if we're looking at gas mileage, you know, it's 3 something an hour, so you're not making a whole lot of money. And it's important to know that if you ever use DoorDash. So keep in mind, the tip is important. If you ever choose to do DoorDash, help us out, help the Dasher out. And the reason why we also care about that is not only are we trying to take things into consideration like making profit, but we have to take in gas. We have to consider maintenance on the car. We have to take into consideration wear and tear on the car, mileage on the car. That all adds up. So in order for it to be a good dash situation, those tips matter. So you have to have a 70%, at least a 70% acceptance rate. But if you have situations where you have to decline, because sometimes some orders have only literally been $2 and that's it. You can decline it. What we try to do is stay at least at the gas mileage or higher when we accept. And we want to try to have a 95% acceptance rate, which means that gives us some maneuvering ability to decline and still stay in that range. It's important to at least have a 70% acceptance rate because that's when you start getting the benefits of door dashing. You also need to try to have at least 100 dashes, 100 orders per month. Those two things get you benefits. You become what's called a top dasher and a platinum dasher. If you aren't those things, then you're stuck with things like you have to schedule within a certain amount of time. So if you don't have those, maybe you can only get in between 2 and 5 o'clock, which are terrible times generally to have to dash because you're not getting those rushes. But you have to schedule and you don't get an opportunity to dash whenever you want. Whereas if you have those two situations in place, then you can dash as much as you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, in whatever city that you're in. And then you're good to go. So that's the kind of stuff that we have to do in order to do this effectively. So we're going to be dashing in Overland Park today, which is on the outskirts of Kansas City. We're going to do that for lunch. Wish us luck. After an afternoon of door dashing, we made $51.21. Now, is that normal? Yes and no. We actually got to Kansas City a little over an hour later than we normally would be dashing, because we try to dash around 11:30 to about 2:30. So we probably would have made more. Now, this morning we spent $18. We also spent how much money did we spend on that? $37 on gas. And then we just got some like simple groceries, and let me tell you about those groceries. So we spent $16.04 on groceries. And as part of that, so this is where you get some good shopping opportunity. Oh, no, it's not. You get some good shopping opportunity. Always look for, if you go to Walmart, they have like these little yellow stickers. And so always look for those kinds of deals. What's really nice about this is I talked to you a little bit about that air fryer and the water pot that we have. And so this will be really easy to cook up, stay cooked, and then have that for like lunch, dinner, so on and so forth. And then we have, so when you go into Walmart and you buy something, okay, we have these hot dogs, but we also need to get things like ketchup. But the beautiful thing is when they are in there, we have ketchup packets and mayonnaise packets and mustard packets that are over in the deli area. So you don't want to buy a ton of stuff that you have to put refrigerated or in a cooler, and those were free. So good stuff there. Now we're going to go out, and we tried something different. Remember we said creative eating. You want to tell them about that?
So my grandfather drove semis over the road back in the 40s, and one of my favorite stories that I had from my dad's retelling of this was he and Dad would cook on the engine or in the engine compartment depending on the food. So this morning when we left, I put dinner on for tonight. So we're going to go out tonight and we're going to take a look at how well we cooked. So join me outside here.
So just letting you know, like you could do something like this. Remember, we're experimenting here. But obviously you can do things like go and like get food and all that. But remember, you have to pay for everything that you're doing. So we just kind of had a experiment. Yeah. Ready to see this? All right.
Here is shaved roast beef.
Okay.
It's very warm. And then we have here, we have some of those chicken breasts that you get out of the frozen section. They are cooked through.
Here we go.
And warm. So that's going to be our dinner for tonight. So, way to be, Grandpa. Good tips.
All right, we'll catch you later. After we get done with this, we've got about 30 minutes before the dinner time starts. We're kind of using Kansas City. We've already been to Kansas City, right? So we're just kind of using Kansas City to do the DoorDash part, which is a jumping off to where we actually want to go. So we're going to try to make as much money as we can here and then take that and enjoy it where we want to enjoy it. So we'll see you later tonight when we show you a little bit about how we're going to do sleeping arrangements. Well, we are going to wrap up the day to give you a little bit of what we did. We did lunch and we did dinner for a total of door dashing. We made $126. That was enough to take care of the breakfast that we got this morning, the gas for the day, and we got those groceries, and to pay also for where we are staying tonight. So you have lots of options and choices. We decided to go cheap as we possibly could. This would be fun. So that we could use that money towards attractions and places we want to eat and all of that. So tonight, we chose a wonderful campground to stick at. It's called Knob Nosser in Missouri, and it was $25. And if you do things just right, you can be right next to a bathroom with showers and all of that kind of stuff. So this takes a little bit of planning. But, I mean, it worked, right? For $25, we have this. Now, where are we sleeping? Well, that's all part of Carcation. We are sleeping in the car. And we outfitted it. Now, granted, this is the first night that we put this thing together. We'll probably get this better later on, but I'm going to give you a nice quick tour. We'll do more. I promised you a better tour, but here you go. So this is us staying in the car. So we outfitted our windows. Privacy. And we've got our air conditioner going. Very important, especially during the summer. And it's doing a really, really, really good job. So, yeah, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, the nice thing about staying in campgrounds that are RV places is you can get electrical hookups as well as water, which is awesome to have accessible to you. So, got an extension cord running out of the car to the hookup. It's running the AC, it's running the power strip for our phones, computers, things like that we want to charge. So yeah, we're sitting pretty right now. Things have worked real good. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Carcation, and we will see you guys in the morning as we head east. Bye guys.